good evening. It's time for Bike Church. Before we get started, a couple of things. Tonight, first of all, tonight we're going to read Genesis chapter 38. That's what we're going to cover. But before we get started, I want to welcome y'all and thank y'all for joining me tonight. Even if you're watching on the replay or if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for joining me. And I do download the videos after I make them, and they do get uploaded to YouTube now. It's not always immediately, but these live videos are left on Facebook for, I think, 30 days. So you've got a while to watch them. But then at some point I will get them, as I have time, I will get them moved over to YouTube. I'm got quite a backlog, but I am working on it. So there's that. I'm trying to get all of our videos loaded over there. In fact, I've still got one of Randy doing the when we were at the hospital, and he had thought he was gonna have surgery on Friday and that we would be home by Sunday night, and of course that didn't happen. So we had church in the hospital room. But I've got that video. It wasn't very long at all, but it's real precious to me because it was, Randy was still recuperating from surgery. But anyway, all those will eventually be on the YouTube channel, as many as they'll let me load. And I don't know if they have a limit or not, but I'm going to put up the ones I can put up. So there's that. I want to mention to you about prayer requests. If you have a prayer request for us, and I say us because it's not just me, there are other people that I have that will pray with me. And I don't give them, if you tell me something in confidence, that's as far as it goes. If you tell me I can allow others to pray with you and with me, then I share the information that you tell me I can share. It's no more than what you tell me. It stays right here among us. It does not go any further. And but we do want to pray for you, even if you just say, listen, excuse me. The light flashed in the kitchen. Even if you just say, I need you to pray for me, I don't want to even talk about it, but I need you, we're going to pray. But if you give us specifics, we're going to pray specifically. Because God, even if we don't know, God knows. Excuse me, I have a little piece of lunch in my teeth. And that's probably more information than y'all needed. But anyway, we're going to pray for you however you give us the information. And just so you know, if you have my cell phone number, you can call me or text me. You can send me a message on this page, which is 3-in-1 Motorcycle Ministries, or you can send me a message on my Facebook page. I'm listed as Beth McDaniel Rogers. And either way, I'll get the message. Tell us how you want us to pray for you, and we will. And of course, when you get the answer, we want to hear that too, because we want to celebrate with you. So let us pray for you. God asks us to pray for each other and lift each other up. That's part of what we're supposed to be doing. In fact, that's the very least we're supposed to be doing. So let us know. Other announcements. Okay. Our small group is starting a new study tomorrow night, and it's called The Power of the Names of the Holy Spirit. And we would love to have you join us if you would like to. It's at Lifeline Church Monday night, starts at 5:30. If you're interested, let me know and I'll give you the information. Tuesday nights we have another small group, and I forgot what the name of that book is, but I can find that out for you as well. We meet at a couple's house in Greenville. We have a real good time. And then Friday night I have just started a sermon-based pulse group, which basically you either attend church and watch the sermon, or you can watch it on the Facebook page. You listen to the sermon, and then the pastor provides us with anywhere from 5 to 10 discussion questions. I will get that to you, and then on Friday nights, and I will send you the link to the sermon, the questions, and the link to the little meeting room, which is on Google Meet, so it's private. The only people that can see what's on there are the ones who are in it. And I will send you that link, and then I will remind you on Friday, don't forget 6 o'clock. Excuse me. I'd love to have you join me for that. Those are very interesting. And These are discussion questions. It's not like yes or no answers, and it's not right and wrong answers. It's questions how you would respond to a situation. Excuse me. And it's real good. It's a great way to get to know people, and we would love to have you join us on that. You don't have to be a member of the church. This is just a community outreach thing. So let me know if you're interested in that, and I'll get you that information. Tuesday night of this week, like day after tomorrow, I've got a family funeral to go to. And so right now my plan is to do our live earlier in the afternoon before I leave. So if you get online at 8:30, you won't see me. It will already be on the internet. I mean on Facebook. You'll just have to look. It may be right after lunch because I'm going to need to leave pretty soon. Well, middle of the afternoon. And then next week, the week starting the 9th, I will be out of town. I will still be doing these lives, but it may not be on our regular schedule, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. I will do the lives, but it may not be our regular schedule. So y'all will just have to bear with me, if you will, during that time, so that I've got a situation I need to help go take care of. And excuse me, but we're going to keep doing this. And Thursday nights we're doing the teachings on Acts. So I'll have to make a different arrangement with that on that Thursday. That's not this week, but next Thursday. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on week after next, but we're going to get it done. We may just have to adjust our schedule a little bit. And so I appreciate your patience during all of that. So now we're going to read Genesis chapter 28. And remember now, yesterday Joseph was put in the pit. Originally they were going to kill him and then take his coat and put blood on it and take it back to their father and say, is this your son's coat? And Reuben said, don't kill him, put him down in this pit. And his intention was to come back later and get him out of the pit and set him free. But while he was gone, the other brothers sold him off to some Ishmaelites who took him to Egypt, and then they sold him to Potiphar, who was an officer of Pharaoh, the captain of the guard. So that's where we left off yesterday. So right now we're going to start with Judah and Tamar. Now remember, Judah is one of Jacob's sons. It happened at that time that Judah went down from his brothers and turned aside to a certain Adulamite, whose name was Hira. There Judah saw the daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. He took her and went into her, and she conceived and bore a son, and he called his name Er. She conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Onan, O-N-A-N. Yet again she bore a son, and she called his name Shelah. Judah was in Chezib when she bore him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. Now all this is going on while the other stuff is going on. This is just a kind of like a side note, but it plays in to the lineage of Jesus, so that's why it's being mentioned. Because remember, Jesus is referred to as the Lion of the tribe of Judah. But Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord put him to death. Then Judah said to Onan, that was his second son, go into your brother's wife and perform the duty of a brother-in-law to her, and raise up offspring for your brother. This is how it worked. A man and woman got married, and if something happened and he died and they didn't have any children, one of his brothers was supposed to marry her and give her children, and the first child was considered the child of the brother who died. That was just the way they carried on the family name. They kept it in the family, and I know that sounds weird to us, but it's not weird to them. That was just the way they did it. So that's what Onan was supposed to do. He was supposed to go in to Tamar and give her a baby that could be raised as his brother Er's child. And then any other children that they had together would be Onan's children. But Onan knew that the offspring would not be his, so whenever he went in to his brother's wife, he would waste the semen on the ground, so as not to give offspring to his brother. Now, this is a little bit of a touchy subject. There are people who have misguided beliefs about some of that situation, and I don't want to get too deep into it because there may be children listening, but his sin was being disobedient. That's what Onan's sin was. He was disobedient to his father and was not doing the duty that he was supposed to do. That's what his sin was, being disobedient. And what he did was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and he put him to death also. Then Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow in your father's house till Shelah, my son, grows up. Younger son was supposed to do the same thing, go into to Tamar and take her for a wife and give her a baby for the older brother, for he feared that he would die like his brothers. So Tamar went and remained in her father's house. In other words, go back and live as a widow until my youngest son gets old enough, and then he will marry you. In the course of time, the wife of Judah, Shua's daughter, died. When Judah was comforted, he went up to Timnah to his sheep shearers, he and his friend Hira the Adullamite. And when Tamar was told, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep. Well, see, now all this time she's been living as a widow at her father's house, doing what she was supposed to, waiting for Judah to do what he was supposed to do. So she took off her widow's garments and covered herself with a veil, wrapping herself up, and sat at the entrance of Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah was grown up, and she had not been given to him in marriage. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face. He turned to her at the roadside and said, come, let me come in to you, for he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. She said, what will you give me that you may come in to me? He answered, I will send you a young goat from the flock. And she said, if you give me a pledge until you send it. And he said, what pledge shall I give you? She replied, your signet, which is a ring that was the way you marked documents that you had signed it, and your cord, that was what the signet, it was a ring, but that's what it was on that cord, and your staff that is in your hand. And let me say this, a person's staff was they weren't just like going to Walmart and picking up a walking stick. They were personalized. So it would be fairly easy, if you were familiar with somebody, you would recognize their staff. So he gave them to her and went into her. Well, now, to me, this is kind of like when Esau and Jacob were fussing over the birthright. Esau knew how important that birthright was, but he said he was so hungry he just really didn't care about his birthright. So in a way, this signet, I mean, that's the way you sign documents. Why do you want to give that to just anybody? That's the way I'm looking at it. So he gave them to her and went into her, and she conceived by him. Then she arose and went away, and taking off her veil, she put on the garments of her widowhood. When Judah sent the young goat by his friend, the Adullamite, to take back the pledge from the woman's hand, he did not find her. And he asked the men of the place, where is the cult prostitute who was at Enaim in the roadside? And they said, no cult prostitute has been here. Well, see, that was also against Judah's religion to go into a cult prostitute, but, here we go. So he returned to Judah and said, I have not found her. Also the men of the place said, no cult prostitute has been here. And Judah replied, let her keep the things as her own, or we shall be laughed at. You see, I sent this young goat, and you did not find her. I'm watching a fly. About 3 months later, Judah was told, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has been immoral. Moreover, she is pregnant by immorality. And Judah said, bring her out and let her be burned. As she was being brought out, she sent word to her father-in-law, by the man to whom these belong, I am pregnant. And she said, please identify whose these are, the signet and the cord and the staff. Then Judah identified them and said, she is more righteous than I, since I did not give her to my son Shelah. And he did not know her again. In other words, they didn't sleep together again. When the time of her labor came, there were twins in her womb. And when she was in labor, one put out a hand, and the midwife took it and tied a scarlet thread on his hand, saying, this one came out first. But as he drew back his hand, behold, his brother came out. And she said, what a breach you have made for yourself. Therefore his name was called Perez. Afterward, his brother came out with a scarlet thread on his hand, and his name was called Zerah, Z-E-R-A-H. So now, and when I can remember hearing that story when I was a little girl, and I thought that was the most fascinating thing I had ever heard, that this baby just stuck its hand out trying to be born and got like a thread tied around its arm. So, but that was the way they were going to make sure that that the firstborn, that the child that was firstborn was recognized. But in this case, he wasn't the firstborn. So that's the end of chapter 38. And again, I appreciate you joining me, and I appreciate your patience these upcoming couple of weeks. I have told y'all that I've been working on some classwork, and I finished up 2 of my classes, and I'm almost halfway through with the third one. I think there's 5, so I'm about almost halfway through with that. And I have a paper to write. In fact, I have 2 papers to write, and I need to get them done pretty quick. One's due March the 17th, and I think the other one is due February something. But it's coming along. And again, I thank y'all for your patience as I work on this stuff. I feel like I'm learning a lot. I know I am. Some of the things, I mean, it's college courses in theology, and it's the Dallas Theological Seminary, so it's Bible courses. So I'm learning a lot. I'm enjoying listening to these teachers teach, and I'm, you can be familiar with the Bible and still not know some of the theological stuff behind it. So I'm learning a lot about that, and I hope I'm retaining it, because I have a final exam that I have to take over in April, and so I'm getting kind of a little bit nervous about that. But anyway, thank y'all for joining me tonight, and we will see you tomorrow night.